Hey everyone, it's me, Sarah Hauer Nelson with the Humor and Chaos podcast, certified resilience, life coach, and certified art therapy practitioner. And today I wanted to talk about chapter 10 in my book, where I begin by talking about, where is it now? I gotta find it. Um, I entitled it Whispers in an Oak Tree. It's blog post number 10. And that's not the tree that I'm talking about. That's a different oak tree. Actually, I'm not even sure if it's oak. It might be. I don't know. Um, but the tree that I'm actually writing about is an old oak tree that used to be near the home that I grew up in. And in that blog post, I talk about my connection to God. I talk about discipline, particularly in my prayer life, but discipline is actually all about life. And really, I cover a lot of topics just very lightly. But I wanted to talk about something else in regards to that blog post today. And what I wanted to talk about is that I was recently back there in my hometown. My sister and I took a 2-week road trip together. First road trip we've ever been on together, ever. And we drove from Idaho to Minnesota to see family and friends. And while we were there, we went to the town that we grew up in and kind of walked around a little bit in the neighborhood and looked at the house, not from the inside. We didn't go knock on the door or anything, but from the outside, we looked at the house that we grew up in and stuff, and the church that we used to go to, and some of our closest friends' homes. But while we were out there, I drove out as far as I could towards the field east of town, looking to see if that tree was there, still there. And it is not. It is not there. It is gone. And I didn't like that. My sister didn't think a big deal about it. She was like, yeah, whatever. But I was like, this was important to me. And I did not take a moment to grieve that the tree was there. And I should have. That would have been the smart thing to do for myself. But I didn't do that. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, it's just a tree. How does this matter? It's not even your tree. It wasn't on your property. It was out in the field. How is this important? It was an important tree to my childhood. That tree was a place of refuge for me in the summertime when I needed one. It was a place that I felt close to God as a child. And it also had significant effect on my life, even as I was becoming an adult, that when I was making decisions for my life, that's where I would go and think and contemplate and pray and imagine. And just knowing that it was gone was not great. So why do I want to bring this up? Because life is never static. Life is ever always changing. And that's just a fact of life. So the question is, what do we do when something has changed and we don't like the change? Well, it's important to remember that the only thing that we can change is ourselves. We can't change anybody else. We can't change. There's the only circumstances that we can change are the ones that involve our own thoughts, patterns, and behaviors, and that's it. We can't change somebody else's. Now, the good news is that when we do change our own thoughts, attitudes, behaviors, we can change the trajectory of things. But even so, things still change, and oftentimes not the way that we want them to go. So the best thing that we can do when something changes, and it doesn't have to be, and I mean, something simple as, hey, my favorite tree from my childhood got chopped down and it kind of hurt my feelings. It's a tree. But it could be something big, like a negative health diagnosis or divorce papers or someone has passed away. Um, regardless of the size of the change. What we can do when things significantly change like that is we can take an honest look at ourselves and go, okay, what does this have to do with me? Does it have to have that much to do with me? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And what can I do for myself to make this situation better? And an important thing to keep in mind is even in the worst of circumstances, there are things to be grateful for. When things do change and they cause us hurt, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but gratitude is the place to go. So when my tree was gone, I did go to a place of, well, thank you, tree, for the years that you gave me. I'm grateful for the time that I had there. I'm grateful that I had that strong, silent force in my life that I could go to when I needed to. And you know, I can switch my focus to finding other places to go. Although no other place will compare, and no other place will do for me what that tree did. And I know I'm just talking about a tree, but think about a pet. What about a pet you used to have that passed away or something? Um, think about a loved one who's gone. And when it came to my lupus diagnosis and I was sick for those 8 years, I learned how to be grateful for the years I had before that were healthy. And that helped me when I did go into remission to take more advantage of those years when I had them. So, and then of course the next step is what can I do now? What can I do today? What role did that tree play in my life that I now have to replace with something else? And do I need something else? Or can I do it for myself? And for me, that answer is place that I was already going, which is church. But it doesn't have to be church. It can be something else. It can be, although my personal opinion, I think church is very important, but I'm not trying to dictate that to anybody. I just don't want anybody to question where I stand. But it can be something or someone else or something you do for yourself. I was talking to someone I'm very close with just last night. And it's kind of apropos the timing of this because this person was saying to me that there's something that they used to do that they were very well disciplined in years ago. I'm sorry, but the sun is getting in my face again. So I'm trying to move over into the shade. Anyway, this person used to do something very healthy, habitually, with discipline, and stopped when something bad happened in their life, something that significantly hurt them. And they stopped for years. And they want to get back at it. So here is a situation where something significant changed, something unexpected, very painful. And this person has had to take time, readjust life to learn to deal with it. But now has noticed that there was something that went astray that they want back. And so I talked to this person about this, and I said, this person wants to go back into the ring. This person is used to be, well, still considers himself a boxer, a fighter, and wants to get back into that. If for no other reason than for the health benefits. And I said, well, when did you used to do this? And he gave me the times and dates of the week when he used to do this. And I said, okay, so you want to get back into the ring, but you're back into that part of your life, but you can't just jump into it right now. Okay, that's fine. What can you put in those time slots now that can replace that, but can be replaced by that when you're ready? And he didn't give me an answer to that, but he said, okay, I see where you're going. I see where you're going with this, and I can do that. I just have to think about it. So he has to think about what it is. What is he going to put in those time slots? It's probably going to be something like long walks or workouts or something like that. I'm guessing, and I don't want to put ideas into his head. They should be his own idea, but I'm assuming they're going to be. I shouldn't assume, but they'll probably be in the direction of something physically healthy, which is good because that's what he's looking to change, something that is his physical health. But that's being proactive about healing from something that changed. And the idea behind that, there's two scenarios for the idea behind that. The first one being, the number one is that, okay, so when people are happy, what do? They smile. So the emotion of happiness creates a smile on the face. Oftentimes when people don't know, they're happy. And so they just don't even realize they're walking around with a smile on their face. The same thing goes that when someone is not happy, but they want to feel happier in the moment, they're trying to make themselves feel happier in the moment. What is one thing, not the only thing, but what is one thing they can do to help promote elevated feelings, happier feelings, more positive feelings? To put on a smile. That is one of the times when the concept of fake it till you make it works. Fake it till you make it doesn't always work. There are times when it's a bad thing to do, but there are times when it's a good thing to do. So this is something I was trying to direct him towards, like that, put something in there. The other concept that this goes along with is the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect being the flap of the wings of a butterfly in one part of the world can actually lead to changes in the wind that could eventually end up as a tornado in another part of the world. A small, tiny change can make a huge difference later on. The more intentional that change is, the bigger the difference. So when something bad happens, take the time to grieve, which I should have done with the tree, but I did do later. I just didn't at the time. I should have done it at the time. I didn't, but I did do it later. And then consciously consider, what can I do? So, okay, that's my talk for today. Hopefully short and sweet enough for you. Don't miss next Tuesday when I've got another featured guest on. And again, if you think you or someone you know would be a wonderful guest on the Humor and Chaos podcast, make sure you shoot me an email at humorinchaos@gmail.com. Or you can look me up online at www.humorinchaos.com. You guys have a great day. Oops, hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button.